Do you have any fun skating anecdotes?
Skating?
Yeah.
When we initially were doing the first run of Evil Dead musical at IUP,
Oh, yeah.
I had the idea because there's a disco number where all the zombies, it's like the big Ash kills the Deadites song right after they like do their ritual dance. That is the Henry Winkler reference. And I thought, wouldn't it be really funny if we were on roller skates?
Right. It has been done in that space before. It's not a good idea.
No, well, especially not with like the vast amounts of soapy blood that we had.
Oh, God.
And the fact that we would have had to get these skates on in a matter of 45 seconds.
Oh, dear.
But it would have been great.
It would have been pretty cool.
What space was this performed in?
A 65-seat black box? 65?
Oh, the black box under Waller?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Got it. I missed that space.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that space.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
It would have been.
Say there's a play called Xanadu, right?
Yeah.
I want to say Rob Hockenberry, who's been on the show.
Yeah.
A friend from
directed
our
that.
Cats episode, yes.
Yeah, I think he directed that sophomore year. He and I sophomore year.
Yeah.
And they're skating in that.
Yes.
I want to say
I believe
There would
so.
have to be, right?
I forget how associated it is with actual Xanadu because it's very much like LGBT,
right.
friendly show.
So he and I went. They're both one acts. So like he did his, and then I did my show. I think No Exit. I was in it. I didn't direct it. Vicky Marcelli directed it.
Vicky.
Yeah. So you got like Jean-Paul Sartre with Xanadu.
Yeah, Xanadu.
I want to say I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure that's what it was.
Yeah. The
makes
premise
me really happy.
is gay people are the norm and straight people are like the minority, and so it's like wrong to be straight. So they just flip it. But I don't know why it's called Xanadu. I don't remember.
There was a really
It might have nothing to do with it.
It's interesting. Yeah, I was saying that seems like a departure.
Because even Xanadu is not very like. It's not
LGBT.
Yeah, it's not that it's against it. It's just not a
there's certainly
topic.
Yeah, there's definitely nothing like queer antagonistic in there.
No, it's very fabulous.
Yeah.
But
It's
as far
quite
as, like,
fabulous.
The characters are pretty hetero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Musical.
Man, I'll have to tell Robbie has to do it again since I don't remember what happened. I was too busy being very, very serious. Yeah. Hell is other people. Xana don't. Welcome to DeRazzled, the podcast that takes award-winning worst films and fixes them. I'm host Jack Culbertson. Here's suffer alongside me as always is also host Joe Nealis.
Right back at it again.
All the movies on DeRazzled won Worst Picture at the Razzies the year they were released. He lied only slightly. The Razzies, for those of you who don't know, are something of a reverse Oscars. They recognize the worst film of the year. Once again, we are joined by special guest Caleb Feigles of the Making a Martini podcast.
Hell yeah.
It's me.
Continuing with DeRazzled's new format, we are now on part 2 of Xanadu. Last week, we discussed whether or not it deserved the hate. We said, fuck you.
Basically.
Yeah.
It deserved the nominations.
Deserved nominations.
But not the hate.
Correct. And now today, we're going to figure out what went wrong before we fix it. But before we do that, what exposure to Xanadu did you have before now?
Before now, I saw it when I was super, super young. It was like one of the things that, like my mom and my aunt, they gave me things like Crybaby, Grease 2.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
Like these like offbeat type musicals, and this was one of them. So I saw it very young, understood none of it. And in fact, when I was younger, I don't think I really actually enjoyed it.
I could see it. Yeah.
With everything except like the actual like songs. I was like, yeah, this is cool. But understanding no point of the plot.
I could see if I was like a little guy, I could bounce right off this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I would say like 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that that realm.
Because it is from 1980, so it is a little older.
Yeah.
And the pace is a little slower because it is an older film.
Right. But I've come back to it as I think I saw it again in college. It was on Netflix or something.
Sure.
And then I watched it and I went, this is fantastic. And then I saw the musical.
I had heard about it because, as we were just saying, our friend Rob directed Xanadu, stage play. And he's like, it's a reference to Xanadu, and I was like, from Citizen Kane? He's like, kind of, but no.
Oh, of course you did that.
Kubla Khan?
Of course.
No? Okay. Stately Pleasure Dome? Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, not quite.
Well, I mean, they do make the
They do reference-
Pleasure Dome
yeah.
of Kubla Khan reference.
Yeah.
so-
They do.
At least for a moment.
So it's set in the same universe as Citizen Kane.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I believe this is the sequel.
You didn't see all the Charles Foster Kane memorabilia hiding in the big abandoned warehouse in that Art Deco building? There's just a bunch of Kane posters in the background.
Xanadu's what they did with the uncut footage of Citizen Kane.
You didn't notice the shot of Orson Welles just wandering back from Crafty in the movie?
Honestly, if they had asked Orson Welles to be in it and just be one of the random magicians in the background,
Oh my God.
200% he would have done it.
Yeah.
If he'd been one of the weirdos in zoot suits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
One of the mimes. One of the juggling mimes.
Yes.
He specifically, I think the first attempt at Casino Royale, he's in it as a magician, and they're like, I will be in it, but only if you let me do magic the whole time, because he's a huge fan of like
close-up magic and
Close-up
shit?
magic,
Really?
yeah.
I had no idea.
yeah, it's a terrible film.
With the original Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Oh my
'Cause
God.
Peter Sellers wanted to do a serious Bond film. And
Sure.
everybody's like, but you're Peter Sellers.
You're Peter Sellers. Yeah.
Do the Pink Panther thing. He's like, no. And they're like,
I don't wanna.
well, you should. And he's like, bye. So he, if I'm remembering, and this was years ago that I watched this, I want to say he like rides over the hill and just explodes. Like he just,
What?
they just have like Peter Sellers. It's not Peter Sellers, just like a stand-in.
Sure.
Like ride over the hill and it just explodes like Monty
Oh
Python
my.
style. And then
Then the writer had a severe heart attack and died.
pretty much. And then one of the earlier characters, who's supposed to be like a previous iteration of James Bond,
Takes over.
takes over. But there's a scene with Orson Welles doing like card tricks and shit.
Jesus Christ.
So, Joe.
My exposure to Xanadu?
Yes.
So I had virtually no exposure to Xanadu, this version of Xanadu, for a very long time, aside from hearing it referenced in other things, which I think the earliest mention of it I had heard was maybe in an episode of Hey Arnold, now that I think about it. And I had always, for some reason, thought that all the music was by ABBA and not ELO,
see that, yeah.
which I think other people, I think I got that from somebody else at some point down like along the line. So whoever that was, you were wrong and you made me wrong. And then, of course, I had seen Citizen Kane in college, and I started making that connection.
Right.
But of course, this is nothing. I mean, obviously, this is a perfect sequel, 10 out of 10. Except that it has nothing to do with it whatsoever. This was my very first time watching this movie for this show, and I told you guys about this, but I just want to say this on the air just so that the words exist for other people. I saw it this past Saturday. In the afternoon, I had gone with some friends to see Jordan Peele's Nope, which I loved. I thought was fantastic. I followed that up by going to Mr. Small's Theater to see famed long-running New Jersey post-hardcore band Thursday, which, if you're aware of Thursday, you know that their music is nothing like Electric Light Orchestra.
Could you sing us a verse? I'm not familiar.
No, I'm not going to sing. I'm not going to sing. My throat's still not feeling great from actually being at the show.
Is it a...
more high pitched that? Yeah.
Okay.
You nailed it. Oh God.
I have a degree in theater.
Yeah. So then I got home and I realized, the next day we're going to Becca's parents to stay overnight for Labor Day shenanigans with her family. So I looked at her and I said, "You want to watch Xanadu?" So we wrapped up Saturday with watching this, and I was the utter tone whiplash, both of my day and of all the shit at the end of Xanadu, made for a weird night's sleep.
If you didn't listen to the first part, it's baffling. I'm not sure why you're here. I mean, stay if you want to, but I would
doing this.
recommend you go back to part 1, where we cover what the movie Xanadu is and what happens in it, what did and did not work for Xanadu. Wonderful. So before we try to figure out what the fuck happened.
Because there's so much.
Because there's a lot. We covered a little bit in the first part. Caleb, what drink did you mix for us today?
Oh, this is it's my favorite beverage. It's a fine aged Snoop Dogg themed 19 Crimes wine. I already don't remember what type of wine it is.
I believe the bottle said Cali Red.
It did say Cali Red.
Oh, a nice blend. A nice blend for us this evening as we mull on the inner workings of Xanadu.
Snoop threw a bunch of red wine into a jug and said, "This is it."
Just kind of dipped the bottle into a bathtub full of red wine.
And said, "Xana, enjoy."
It's actually jungle juice. Just Snoop walked into a frat house and dipped this into a bathtub. Actually, this is pretty good.
It's not bad. It is much stronger than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I went from
That's how
being
wine
like
works, Jack.
mildly buzzed to being like, I'm tipsy now.
Yeah. Your face is a little warm.
Should preface that I don't drink wine.
No, I've never seen you drink wine.
Ever. So this is an experience.
Yeah.
It
As
normally
was
makes me throw
Xanadu.
up, which is why I don't drink it.
Oh no.
But I think at this amount, I'll just become ugly and not throw up-y.
Yeah.
Thanks, Snoop. Joe, would you help them remember, never unmember? I'm pushing it. It's going to be a thing now.
Apparently. So, yeah, in case you forgot, which you should never do, as Jack just said, remind your friends and family and loved ones to listen to the show, to subscribe, and please rate and review the show wherever you possibly can to help us get higher up in them search rankings, much like our dear friends at Decaying with the Boys, a fellow Pittsburgh-based podcast who has rated several of our episodes 5 stars on Good Pods. So thank you guys.
So here's the issue with trying to fix this movie. I don't want to.
You did mention that. Yeah, I'm still kind of in shock that you like this as much as you did.
Yeah.
Like, again, I didn't hate it, but it is wild.
I love the effects. I love the poster. I love
It's a good poster.
the letter font type.
All right. I didn't expect you to get into the graphic design of the poster here, but
I love that Gene Kelly actually tried.
he did try.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I enjoyed seeing Michael Beck from The Warriors. He wasn't my favorite performance, but
He wasn't terrible, but he was like the weak link out of the main cast.
That's
I'd say.
a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I like the subplot of him being a record enlarger painter and having his other like artly chums, you know, taking jabs at him and being
asking him for weird X-rated explanations of things.
Yeah. I do have to ask though, that's happened to you before, right? Maybe not like at work, but you've never had anybody like, hey, so, you know, give me details.
Oh, sure. I've had
Just like that.
Oh, sure. I've had friends like ask me like, so what happened? Kiss and tell, but
Danny
never,
DeVito
but never
on
like, hey,
Snoop Juice.
hey, tell it to me like a porno.
Huh, we have different friends.
Xanadu the porno. Xanadu me.
That would be it. That
Yeah.
would absolutely be the title.
Our late night show. Tales from the Bathhouse.
Absolute hazard because of the roller skates.
But I will, you know, I think the only reason it's considered as bad as it is because one, it was part of the Razzies. It was part of the first Razzies.
Yeah, one of the 10 original nominees for Worst Picture.
It's fucking weird.
I mean, if you look at some of those movies on that list, it is kind of weird. We're covering another one next month.
What one are we covering next one?
Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah. But I think the only reason we even are really aware of it is because it was put on a list of like, these are the worst movies of the year, and it's fabulous.
Yeah.
And clicked with a certain audience.
Sure.
So instead of talking like, hey, what went wrong here? Because like there's some things that went wrong, but nothing so egregious that you're like, oh, that's why it is the way it is. It's more like it was a movie. Some stuff went right, some stuff went wrong, but most people just didn't connect with it.
Sure.
I'm going to go through some, factoids.
Let's do it.
Love a fact.
And annoyed.
Yeah.
Gene Kelly. What a diva.
I can only imagine.
So
when you have the career that he's had, come on.
if you don't think you know Gene Kelly, you do. He's singing in the rain, motherfucking Gene Kelly. Yeah. So when he signed on to this movie, he said, I'm not going to dance. I'm not dancing. I'll be in the movie. Not going to happen. But then he's like, kind of getting into, he's like, all right, I guess I'll dance. But I'm not tapping. And then kind of got into it, he, like connect with Olivia Newton-John.
All right, I guess
I'll tap.
Again, the set was really close to his house, so he's like, I guess I'll be in the movie. It's just down the road. He was very pissed that in the last scene at Xanadu when it's opening, he skates, but the way that it's shot, you don't see his feet. He's like,
yeah,
I'm like 600 years old and I skated and you cut my feet off? Yeah. He was not happy about it.
Understandable, yeah, because I did not think that they would have him do that because he was ancient.
No, yeah. So he was in some stuff after this.
I will say, he looked good for his age.
No, yeah, he looks very good. He did a couple of TV episodes, but this was his last feature.
Yeah, he popped up in some like compilation films of some sort, but like there's nothing on the scale of a feature length.
So as I mentioned in the first half, there were some script issues that involved the writer being locked in his house for 3 days with the producer like standing guard.
Oh my God.
Joel Silver, we'll get to him.
Joel Silver, I feel like I recognize that name.
I want to say he did the Lethal Weapon series.
That might be why. Okay.
He's very much like the producer that you envision of this time.
So I'm just picturing John Peters again, and
he's like if like a skin flake of John Peters fell off and became sentient.
That's Joel Silver.
That's Joel Silver.
Okay.
There's an X-Men villain like that. It's fucking gross.
Of course there fucking is.
It's also Grant Morrison creation.
Of course it is.
It's gross. So one of the big issues that they ran into with the script was that it was originally written to be like a low budget roller disco, kind of like roller disco is very popular at the moment. Let's jump on this.
Capitalizing on a trend.
Yeah. The problem was that 2 movies beat them to it. That's Skate Town, USA and Roller Boogie, which were both 1979.
But indelible classics that we'll love and cherish until the day we die.
Right.
I've totally seen each of them 69 times apiece.
If I had more time, and I'll get to this, I absolutely would have watched Skate Town, USA.
Okay.
Because there's an actor in it that we'll get to, and I watched just his scene, and it is phenomenal.
Okay.
So I might, like, a little tipsy after you guys leave, just, like, watch Skate Town, USA. But because these 2 movies basically did what they wanted to do, that's when they're like, okay, we're going to incorporate the whole, like, early 40s musical movie thing with the early 80s, kind of mishmashed them together. So it's at least somewhat unique.
Okay.
So I forgot I actually have a quote from Joel Silver from when he notoriously locked his writer up. The son of a bitch wouldn't deliver, so I locked him in.
That's actually what he said? Like he's quoted as saying that?
Yeah.
Dude!
Continuing with that trend. So the movie, it was originally budgeted for $4 million, but ended up costing $13 million, which is not that much, but for 1980s, plus when you're expecting a $4 million budget, and it comes out to 13, that's not great. So Universal head Ned Taryn fired Joel Silver.
Wow.
Who immediately went to work for his friend and mentor, Lawrence Gordon, who was also a producer on Xanadu.
Yes.
Who then immediately hired him back on. So while I very much like the effects that are in the movie,
yes,
the director, Robert Greenwald, Joel Silver, and Victor Kemper, they wanted better effects. They were aware that, like, even for 1980, those effects are pretty antiquated.
Oh, sure.
Like, keep in mind, Empire Strikes Back came out in 1980.
Yeah.
And while that had, like, a much higher budget, still. The problem was that Universal Pictures, who released this movie, bumped the release date from summer of 1980 to Christmas.
Oh, this was a Christmas release?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Or I'm sorry, reverse. That doesn't make any sense. Why would that?
Wait, did they pull it forward? Like they released it earlier than expected. They shortened the timeline.
My notes say released from Christmas of 1980 to summer of 1980.
Oh, yeah, so that means they shortened the timeline on them. Holy shit!
Yeah,
they cut production time for them.
And normally the effects are the last thing to get done.
That would explain part of that. Yeah, that's some crunch bullshit right there.
Yikes. So while the movie didn't do super well, the soundtrack did really well.
Well, it's ELO.
It's ELO.
Yeah. It's fucking Mr. Blue Sky, man.
Yeah.
But also, I think Magic was just Olivia Newton-John, right? I don't think that was an ELO song. And it hit number 1 in U.S. pop singles. And
wow. Good for her.
Number 2 at the UK, and the single Xanadu was 1 for 2 weeks.
2 weeks?
Yeah, and like, it's a pretty good soundtrack.
It is a good soundtrack.
It's not bad at all. Yeah, I don't know that it necessarily fit for like a narrative, but it was fun. Right. It was a fun soundtrack.
And we kind of mentioned in the first part that the ELO songs, at least, were just like had already been written. And,
they just had them.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can never remember his name. Jeff Lynne had like just had these songs lying around. He's like, I was gonna put them in an album at some point, but like if you want them.
You can,
And I think he did like one original song for the movie. The rest was already like pre-made. And then, so yeah, not bad for a bunch of songs that were just lying around.
Yeah, just happened to.
So Olivia Newton-John broke her ass.
Broke her ass?
Yeah.
Do you mean tailbone or do you mean ass?
Well, I mean ass. I never not mean ass, but I also mean coccyx.
Okay, yeah, sure.
During the dance sequence for Suddenly.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, that was the one with the trees and the lights and the rainbow.
So.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
because Magic was the other one where she was doing like actual like. I thought very impressive skate skills where she just like would spread her legs and do like almost a split and just like turn sideways.
Yeah.
I was like, okay,
there was some
off.
advanced skate moves in the midst of that.
Yeah.
That might have been with a broken ass.
That might, yeah.
Because she didn't stop. She was just like, well, my ass is broken now. Guess we're going to keep going.
I'm just going to cry through the pain and then skate through the pain, I guess. Yeah. And I'm crying in the trailer afterwards.
Yeah. One of our... Well, really, the only actor that we're like, you're not really working for us was Michael Beck. Mm-hmm. Well, he was not the first choice. And as we said in the first part, he was also just like given the part. They're like, you don't have to audition. You just show up. Here's the time and date.
Please, just if we put you on the call sheet, will you fucking be
here?
Yeah,
be there.
Yeah. He's like, that I can do. And honestly, from working on film sets, that can get you a job pretty easily. Like, you show up here and at this time, you're hired.
There have been moments on our films where I've been like, can we just like ask a guy if he'll do this, and then if he shows up, we pay him. There
was a set that I was on where I started as a PA, and was by the end of it, so many people had fucked up that I was assistant producer. Yeah, I'm like, I just showed up and worked. That's all you need to do, kids. Anyway, so Michael Beck, originally his part, Sonny, was given to Andy Gibb.
Andy Gibb, that name sounds familiar.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but he's a musician. He dropped out. He had the role. Would you like to guess who Olivia Newton-John wanted for the role?
John Travolta.
John Travolta was shooting something else at the time.
Real quick, I just want to point out Andy Gibb of the Bee Gees.
Thank you.
That's where he was from. Okay, John Travolta was shooting something else. Who did Olivia Newton-John want?
Mel Gibson.
No. Fuck off. No.
Gotta have those Aussie.
God. Yeah, I was going to say there's that Aussie connection. Oh God, no.
I don't know when the first Mad Max was done, but I'm curious to know if he had accepted the part, if it would have like wiped out his chances of future stardom.
So, I mean, the first Mad Max came out like the year prior. That was 79. And then the second one came out in 81. Okay. So I don't know if he would have been busy like immediately filming sequels after that.
Mad Max Xanadu.
Oh my God. Can you fucking imagine Mel Gibson of all people in a musical?
I can't. Yes,
I don't think
but
I want
not
to.
On skates.
No. Like even like even like roll it back to before we knew he was a racist anti-Semitic piece of shit. Like no. I can't fathom it.
No.
His like recognition as an actor is I think, far too wrapped up in action and comedy.
And here's why we all have Hugh Jackman to thank for breaking that barrier down.
Yes.
Because if I'd only ever watched like X-Men, X2, X-Men United, you betcha.
X-Men You Betcha was a particularly good entry in the series.
It was.
Just I don't think Jerry Seinfeld gets enough credit for directing that one.
Directing and starring as Apocalypse.
Apocalypse. I know, it was weird. I don't understand how they fucked up Oscar Isaac's Apocalypse after Jerry Seinfeld nailed it so hard.
Anyway, so Hugh Jackman was Wolverine, and then he also does a shit ton of musicals.
One of the dumbest things I've ever said in my life. Just
They also looked at Peter Frampton.
wow, they're really digging into the musician pool here.
So Michael Beck didn't do any of the. There is a male singer in some of the songs.
Yeah.
That aren't ELO, and it's not him.
Oh, is he voice dubbed?
He's voice dubbed.
Oh, they pulled a Rocky on him.
Well, they don't even really.
Again, not Rocky Balboa, Rocky Horror.
Yeah.
There's got to be a mashup somewhere of those two movies. Like, there's got to be a deep fake somewhere.
Yes.
Oh, that's funny as hell.
But I don't remember if Michael Beck ever even sings on screen. I think it's all like background music.
It might just be background stuff, or like while he's in motion skating or stuff like that.
But I wonder if they had gone with like an Andy Gibb or Peter Frampton, which are all like musicians my mom had a crush on in high school.
Of course.
If they would have done more like a traditional musical where they're singing on screen.
Oh, they absolutely would have. Because they you know that they have the talent. You know that they have the ability to do that.
Do you want to know why Peter Frampton was turned down?
Yes.
The producers at Universal
told him he couldn't use a talk box.
Couldn't use a talk box, and he was like, well then, fuck it. Have you ever heard of the 1979 film Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band?
Yeah, of course.
It's garbage.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's really bad, especially if you don't know the Beatles are not in it, and you go in looking for the
Beatles. Yeah,
like I did in college, and I was like, "The fuck is this shit?" Anyway, that feeling that I just had, that was the same feeling the Universal producers had, and they're like, "No, we're still mad at you for that movie."
Peter Frampton, why do I know that? No!
Also considered was a gentleman called David Newton, I want to say.
David Newton.
So he was considered for the part after the director had seen a Dr. Pepper commercial.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah. He was busy shooting Midnight Madness, which is a movie I've never heard of. Other people considered were Steve Guttenberg.
The Goots!
The Goots. Griffin Dunn and Michael, I can never say his last name, Michael Bien from Terminator. Biehn.
Michael Biehn?
Biehn, maybe?
Biehn?
Yeah. He was
Biehn. I'm starting to get tipsy, I'm sorry.
I could not tell. Anyway, yeah, Michael Biehn from Terminator and I think Aliens.
Interesting. Okay. There's quite a mix of people considered before Michael Beck took over.
I have to imagine everybody was like, no,
absolutely.
No, absolutely not.
Imagine going to an actor trying to explain this plot in this movie and be like, so you down?
The only thing we could really do is we got Gene Kelly and we got Olivia Newton-John. Those are the only positives.
Yeah.
Can you sing? Can you dance? Can you roller skate? No, that's if you still want it.
There wasn't somebody at that point in time who was willing to like pull a Val Kilmer in like the Island of Dr. Moreau and be like, no, I want to work with Brando. But no one was like, no, I want to work with Kelly.
That's strange to me.
Yeah, right.
Say what we will about Michael Beck, but he could at least roller skate.
I'll give him that. Yeah.
So Olivia Newton-John turned down 2 roles in order to take Xanadu.
Oh, no.
The first one is like dodge a bullet.
Oh, okay.
Because it's Can't Stop the Music.
Oh my god,
which was the one movie
I was wondering.
worse.
I was wondering if that was going to be on the list there. Okay, what's the other one?
The Blues Brothers.
The Blues Brothers.
Yeah. I don't know what part she would have
Shit.
had, but
oh my god, I'm curious. That's
the movie that John Travolta was busy working on was Urban Cowboy,
okay.
which I think wasn't that like one of the first NC-17 films?
Yeah.
Are you getting that confused with Midnight Cowboy? Because I just had a big conversation with all of Becca's family yesterday where they all got those movies confused, and that was fun.
I mean, I've never seen Urban Cowboy, but I've seen Midnight Cowboy, and it's amazing. I think they're both rated MC-17.
I'll have to look into that further.
Please do. So Matt Litanzi had a minor role in the film. Afterwards, he accompanied Olivia Newton-John back to Australia on like a promotional film thing and to meet her parents, and they got married. They were married till 1995. She cheated on him constantly, but they were married until 1995. Hey.
Neat.
Yeah. Here's the part where I turn things over to you to discuss the musical.
Oh, before we get into that, there's one more thing about the production I would like to mention.
Sure.
The choreography was largely tackled by one Kenny Ortega.
Yes.
Do either of you recognize that name?
It sounds really familiar.
Caleb almost choked on his wine. So Caleb,
I did not know that. Oh,
Caleb, where do you know the name Kenny Ortega from?
Gosh. Fill in the blank. Well, I know for sure the first time I ever actually knew who he was High School Musical.
Yes, he is. He directed all the High School Musical movies,
Yeah.
as well as the trilogy of Descendants movies that came out within the last few years, which is the musicals from the perspective of the Disney villains' children.
Which do surprisingly well.
Live action films?
Yes.
On Disney Plus or just like
They
not
were
theatrical,
like
Disney Channel originals.
They were Disney
at least
Channel
the first
originals,
one.
but are now on Disney Plus.
But didn't he?
They're bonkers.
Yeah.
Are any of them any good?
Um,
Are any of them so bad they're good?
Probably.
Yeah.
Does Hades reproduce?
Yes, I think. I'm not entirely
I think
sure.
Hades is one.
Hades appears.
Maleficent is one.
Maleficent, I can
Maleficent
believe
definitely has
she
a kid.
definitely fucks. She's a
yeah.
hard dom.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. There's a thing called pegging, and she does it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hard to imagine she actually got pregnant, but, you know.
So appropriately, Maleficent's kid falls for Belle and Beast's kid.
Sure. But Ursula.
Also as a kid.
Yeah.
All right. I'm
Yep.
in. You've sold me.
Yeah.
I'm mad about it, but you sold
Captain
me.
Hook has a kid,
No, he
and
doesn't.
Captain Hook's kid holds his father's hook in his hand.
Oh, dear.
It's silly.
Like
Gaston's son is a fucking himbo.
I like that. Actually, I like that.
Kenny Ortega also directed several episodes of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which if you have not watched that,
what
it's
it is.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Better than it has any right to be.
What's her face is in it? Jessica Jones?
No.
The actress?
Rachel Bloom?
No, I'm thinking something
No,
else.
it's Rachel Bloom is the lead actress and creative force behind all of it. You're thinking Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23, which is what Kristen Ritter is in. No, this is A Crazy Ex-Girlfriend is Rachel Bloom and several other people whose names I'm forgetting. But it is excellent.
So Kenny Ortega did a lot of choreography after this. I think
Choreography and directing.
Yeah.
there was a
He did Dirty Dancing, too.
I believe so, yes.
there was like a terrible making of Xanadu special that I watched. It was very much like making of Xanadu put out by the people who are promoting Xanadu. So it was a bunch of, but I want to say that Kenny Ortega became buds with Gene Kelly on set.
Oh, I believe
And
that.
then was kind of like mentored by him.
That's awesome.
years.
That's cool.
I love that.
Yeah. As much of a pain in the dick as Gene Kelly sounds like he was, he also sounds like he was a delight.
Yeah.
He just very much sounds like, oh, you know exactly the weight that you have and are throwing it around.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he was self-aware.
Yeah. So last factoid before I turn it over to you to talk about the musical, just in case anybody was wondering, Olivia Newton-John passed away on the 42nd anniversary of this movie's release.
Yeah.
Really?
On the actual day?
August 8th.
Shit.
I had no idea. That's wild.
It came and got her. Came back for her.
Hell,
42-year curse.
rest in peace. That's oof.
Oh. One for Olivia.
Yeah. Dude, I have to take my last sip here.
To Olivia. And her cankles.
I gotta say, Snoop makes a decent red wine.
He does.
He does.
Yeah.
So the musical.
Yes. So I've been excited to bring up just at least how the musical starts, because everything that we've said that we were like, I wish they would have done this, I wish they would have done that, they do in the musical.
Amazing.
So the whole thing starts with him actually drawing the mural on like the ground where all the muses come from.
Oh, okay.
So it's really cool because they all just rise out of the floor.
That rules.
Oh, yeah.
That absolutely rules. Oh, that'd be such a cool set piece to see happen.
Yeah.
Oh.
So each muse is a different muse of something. So it's like one's the muse of dance, one's the music of art, singing, other ones.
Yeah.
Mischief is one. I don't know, whatever the 9 are. And they are the ensemble throughout the entire show.
Okay.
It's a good idea.
So they bring in each element of what happens in the actual story.
Can I interrupt for 1 second?
Yeah.
I just realized that we didn't cover this thing that I had put a pin in what didn't work. Yeah. So is Olivia Newton-John's muse the muse of capitalistic ventures? Because it feels really weird for this Greek muse to be like, you need to open this club for people to come and consume in.
Yes, she was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
The
So
eighth-
as long as we have that straightened out.
The 8th muse
Yeah.
is capitalism.
Yeah. Correct.
Known capitalistic force, ancient Greece.
Yeah. But yeah, so each muse is a different thing, and then I think she winds up actually being the muse of love or art or passion. I don't know, something like that.
It's not Terpsichore.
No, they say her name.
Terpsichore is the muse of dance, and
Yeah.
in the movie she starts to say her name, which is she gets as far as Terp.
That's about as far as she gets. Or she
and
is
then-
cut off like, I don't care. I
He's
love
like,
you.
you're not a fake goddess. Wherein I think the musical, she's
She
named
says
as an
her
entirely
name.
different
Yeah.
muse.
I think it's Calliope.
Calliope, okay. That's a name I at least have like a
It's
mild
history.
familiarity,
Yeah, it's the
familiarity
Muse of
with.
history or something like
Yeah.
that.
She winds. No, maybe it's not Calliope. Calliope is one of the characters, but in the opening number, she does say that she's here to help this Sonny to find artistic integrity and achievement and all this stuff.
Through capitalistic endeavor.
But she's going to disguise herself as a fun roller skating Australian girl with leg warmers. That's the other thing. The musical really does take digs at all the right aspects of the movie,
That's pretty
including
great.
Olivia Newton-John's like accent, singing voice, everything like that. And what I think I wish the movie had done, even if you don't cover all the muses, is that the two like elderly muses who are these just sassy old Jewish women, one of which is Jackie Hoffman, because why not?
Okay.
They decide to be the ones that perpetuate the two of them falling in love because they know that it's wrong. So they're like the troublemakers in all of this, even though they're still working on helping this guy become an artist.
Because there's really not an antagonist in the film.
No. So they become the antagonist of the musical, technically.
Okay.
And they sing Evil Woman, also by ELO.
Nice.
So they add some songs too. I don't think any songs are cut, but they put in more ELO songs.
Did they add in Mr. Blue Sky?
They did not.
That's a mistake.
They did not.
Yeah.
The other thing, other than that, it's pretty much cut and dry. Like, I mean, what you see in the movie is what you get, with the exception of when they go to, and they, I believe, do call it Mount Olympus. It's like they bring out like a centaur, a flying horse, like all these different like gods that come out, and they're like, Zeus, let her go, you dick. And he's like,
fucking
I don't
weirdo."
think so. But I also appreciate when I saw it that there was a trap door in the floor that Sonny just like flies open and crawls out of. He's like, I made it.
That's pretty much what the film was. He just
Runs.
roller skates straight into this mural.
It really does.
Yeah. But knowing now that their thing got pushed up, I have a feeling that's exactly why that scene looks the way it
Yeah.
does.
Yeah,
Probably.
that makes
Like,
so much more
no
sense
smoke
now.
at all, just some.
Look, we want you to skate as hard as you can into this wall. I know you're going to be concussed in real life, but we're going to cut it so it looks real
looks
good.
really cool. Yeah. But
Can I wear a helmet or something? No.
yeah. Absolutely not. But it did well. It was received well.
Do you know if the ending is the same?
I don't remember. I'm pretty sure she still. It ends with the roller disco, which seeing live is much more impressive than it is in the
would
movie.
I fully believe that.
But I think there's ambiguity on, or not ambiguity. There's I don't know what the word that I'm looking for is, but it's not really clear whether or not they wind up together, if she ascends, if she...
Okay.
It just sort of
Gotcha.
ends with the end
ambiguity.
of Is that right?
Ambiguity's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you got it.
All right. But yeah, it did well. It was nominated. I'll tell you in a second for
Best musical.
4 Tony nominations and 6 Drama Desk Awards.
Wow.
And it did really
win?
well.
Yeah, and it won for Outstanding Book of a Musical for the Drama Desk Awards.
Okay.
It did not win any Tonys, but it was up for Best Musical, Best Book, Best Performance for the girl who was Olivia Newton-John, and Best Choreography.
And it ran
Good for
for
them.
500 performances.
500. Okay.
It is fun. Like, I had a great time. They did it in Pittsburgh here recently too, at like the CLO, and it was solid there too. And I'm like, it's just a fun, like, I think because of the movie, you know exactly what you're getting when you go in.
Sure.
Like, there are no surprises.
I like that they're able to kind of like thumb their nose at the movie just enough.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
nicely done.
Yeah.
Do we want to break now or after the true crime segment?
We're already 45 minutes in. So you think maybe now would be a good time to take the break, and then we can do true crime and then into fix?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Welcome back to DeRazzled, True Crime Edition, a podcast within a podcast that I didn't expect to be revisiting for a third time.
So quickly too. Like it's really like, it's alarming how fast we've been in true crime mode, considering what Mommy Dearest,
The Room,
and now this.
Yeah.
We've hit a true crime hat trick stupidly fast for a stupid movie podcast.
We skipped over for Superman Lives, which honestly, of those ones, I would have guessed that would have been the true crime one.
I mean, considering John Peters' entire deal, but like, no,
he just didn't get caught.
Well, no, we did talk. You know what? No, we did talk a little bit about how he got caught up in Heidi Fleiss's Hollywood Madam sting.
Oh yeah, we did. So, in July of 1983, a man looking for his stepson entered a neighbor's house and found 2 bodies: one of his stepson, Brian LeBlanc, age 21, and one of LeBlanc's cousin, Randall Perry. Sorry, I've drank a lot of Snoop juice real quick. Randall Perry, age 19. The 2 men had been shot.
To start with murder. What?
Oh yeah, it's a lot. People died. So Randall Perry, age 19. The 2 men had been shot in the head at close range with a shotgun.
Jesus.
Xana, stop.
I'm sober now. What the fuck happened?
The man called the police, who then noticed bloodstains on the front door of the home 2 doors away. Police entered the home and found the body of Chester Perry, 48, in a crouched position in the living room. Grace Perry, age 47, and Anthony Bonin, age 2, were found dead in the kitchen. All also had a shot in the head with a shotgun. We've slowly escalated with each of our...
Slowly?
With 5 dead bodies. We just talked about a Broadway musical.
So in like Mommy Dearest, now we're getting into like the shit that I like. The shit that like I'll listen to when I'm making breakfast in the morning. Like,
Rise from your grave.
yeah, really. I should have worn my last podcast shirt.
I'm surprised you didn't.
It was dirty. Not home was Michael Owen Perry, the son of Chester and Grace, and the uncle of Anthony. Perry was also the cousin of Randall and Brian, so pretty clear who the main suspect is.
Mm-hmm.
What does not help is that he, at one point, had been an unemployed oil field roustabout, which is their words, and I'm glad I got to say it.
Roustabout?
He was a roustabout.
That's a fun word. It's entirely too fun a word for the story you're telling.
Which is fine, but he had also been in and out of mental hospitals.
Oh, well.
Which is, neither here nor there, except for when you kill 5 people.
It's very much here then.
It's kind of here, honestly. I agree, Caleb. It's very here.
You see, Perry had written a number of rambling letters to singer Dame Olivia Newton-John. Some praised her, while others threatened her.
I really hope these 5 people didn't die over Xanadu.
I can neither confirm nor deny what specific movie pushed him over the edge. I will say that this was 3 years after that movie. But
so he watched it on loop for 3 years.
Since it was 83, I don't think VHS was out yet. So every time it replayed in the theater, or he probably just re-listened to he probably just played the vinyl over and over and over again.
That could be it. Yeah.
According to the documentary, Hopelessly Devoted to You, maybe possibly I did so much research in trying to find the like original source to this information. So everything I just told you, I read straight from the newspaper clippings.
Okay.
Everything, this little bit here is from the quote unquote documentary. Olivia received letters from Michael. He believed that he was a god and she was a goddess. She received a collage of photos of herself, each one having their eyes scratched away. And that sounds like super salacious. That's why I was like, I want to find the original source, and I could not find it. So take that with a grain of salt. It's Little Red Dragon.
A little bit. Just a touch.
Anyway, back to like documented land. On August 2nd, 1983, in Washington, D.C., a man hailed a police car and said, "My radio was stolen by the man in the hotel."
What?
A man was like, Hey, you, this asshole stole my radio in that hotel over there. Okay. So the police were like, all right, we'll do our job.
I guess.
Yes.
Ugh.
Fucking paperwork. And they were like, hey, did you steal this guy's radio? And they were like, he was like, yeah.
What are you going to do about it?
And these several small TV sets.
What?
So they arrested him, and that was Michael Owen Perry. He had stolen a bunch of radios and TVs in Washington, D.C.
So he could watch Xanadu 3 times.
On all the TVs at once.
Yeah, simultaneously. One TV for his face and one for each of his ears.
Let me remind you that the crimes occurred in Louisiana, where he was captured in Washington, D.C.
Wow. Okay.
So he got far.
So they ran. Yeah, he did R for himself.
That's not the phrase to use, Jack.
He's a good runner.
Oh, God, he Forrest Gumped it. I just kept on running.
So they did just a regular old background check. Actually did their jobs. Cut that, Joe. I don't need to have those emails.
I'm not cutting that. Are you kidding me?
Actually did their fucking job and ran the fucking background check. And gosh, they were sure surprised when they saw that Louisiana had warrants out charging him for the deaths of his mother, father, 2 cousins, and a 2-year-old.
Well, shit, Earl, look at this. It's a good thing we didn't go to the bar.
Like they're from DC, but you're giving them a southern accent.
I wasn't trying to, honestly.
Just
I think I might switch into a southern accent if I found out this guy just murdered 5 people.
Just involuntarily.
Maybe he'll forget who I was.
Yes. Okay, it's time for me to sit down and do my reading. I'm just going to enjoy my newspaper here. What the fuck is this?
So Louisiana police, now that they, had a little bit to go on, searched Perry's trailer. Found a piece of paper with a list of names on it. Names that included Olivia Newton-John and Judge Sarah Day O'Connor, who was the first woman appointed to
Sandra Day O'Connor.
Yeah.
That is a leap. From Olivia Newton-John to Sandra Day O'Connor?
There's a reason, and I'll get to it.
Oh, no.
It's not a good reason.
But
it is important.
Really?
It is important to know that she was the first woman appointed to the
Supreme Court. Yes.
The other names on the list included murdered family members, so check. Each, and this is creepy as fuck, each having the word, he didn't use checks or scratch the names out like a normal person. He wrote Sky beside each name.
Sky?
Yeah. Like,
Like he sent them into the sky like angels?
Yeah.
Oh, Michael.
I feel dirty.
Yeah. So to make it even creepier, Perry, during one of his stays in the mental hospital, told a doctor that, quote, no woman should be above a man. Possibly indicating why O'Connor would be on the list.
Okay.
So he was found guilty.
Okay.
Good.
And put on death row.
Okay.
But the story doesn't end there. And actually, that's why this story is famous. Not because he watched Xanadu and felt the urge to kill. That's normal. But because of the court case that occurred afterwards.
Okay.
So in a predating court case, I'm far too tipsy for this, but I'm going to push through.
Just go push through. It's okay.
Per Ford versus Wainwright, a psychotic inmate who does not have an understanding of what is about to occur is not competent to be executed and therefore cannot be executed. The complex issues of forcibly medicating an individual to make him competent for execution posed in Perry versus Louisiana, which is why this became famous, illustrates the conflict between the judicial interest in imposing capital punishment for certain murderers and the medical physician's Hippocratic oath not to give poison. Medical ethics are also primarily guided by the Hippocratic aphorism, first do no harm.
Yes.
So, because of that, even though he was up for execution, he had for years rejected his medication,
thus making it so that he was ineligible because he could not comprehend.
Correct. So what happened to him was, since he was kind of in like a weird legal limbo, they put him in solitary confinement.
I had a feeling that's what you were going to say. Yeah.
Which is where he is to this very day.
Wow.
Should we go?
I'm good.
Just sit outside his room and go, you have to believe we are magic.
You feel like killing? You feel like killing yet? It's
holy shit.
Him and one other inmate have a lawsuit out trying to like say that solitary confinement is inhumane and all that stuff.
There's an argument for that, but also like you killed your whole fucking family, dude, and you were gonna kill a whole bunch of other people.
Oh, also, Rolf now killed his 8-year-old, severely disabled stepbrother with an axe because he was trying to prevent him from watching an important TV show where Olivia Newton-John was apparently giving him signals.
Come again?
Olivia Newton-John tells people to kill, their brothers.
I did hear this.
On the TV. Do you have any brothers?
I do.
Anymore?
To be fair, that is what I got out of Greece, but I don't have any brothers.
Yeah.
I got away.
Jesus Christ.
So my research into Xanadu got way darker than I expected.
Yeah, and how?
There's also like another part where one of her husbands may have been like a drug dealer and he disappeared while on a boat.
One of Newton-John's husbands?
Yeah. I didn't read too much into it because it was more like gossipy unless
Well, you had all these murders to read about.
I was like, these have a little bit more direct contact with Xanadu, whereas that just has more to do with like her romantic life, which is But she's very happy living in Australia. Well, not anymore.
Not anymore. Not anymore. Again, we established already. Rest in peace. Christ almighty.
Anyway. Woof. Just gonna take a moment for myself.
Yeah.
I think he just managed to get us canceled. Fuck.
That's all it took? Shit. I would have gotten into true crime way sooner. Hey, let's make Xanadu even better.
Let's please. Let's do that now.
So, going along with our newer format for DeRazzled, we're going with more of an elevator pitch than a full script.
Yeah, we're not going to do a full treatment.
We're not going to do the Kevin Smith treatment.
The Kevin Smith version of an outline where it's 80 fucking pages long.
So as I said, I liked this movie.
Yeah.
I don't really want to do a whole lot to fix it. I do think there's a couple things that could be fixed, though. Mm-hmm. One of the first things I want to do is switch out the director.
Interesting.
And wouldn't you know, all the directors I wanted were fucking busy.
I'm curious who's on that list.
Unfortunately, what stands between your desire to know that and my knowledge is a wall of inebrium.
So you don't have that written down.
That is correct.
Okay, let's move on.
I know I looked at Rocky Horror.
Okay.
And I think I looked at like whoever's directing Grease. what was worse was all of the actors I wanted were also very busy.
God damn.
Yeah.
The early 80s, man.
Mm-hmm. Well, like John Travolta, as I said earlier, he was busy. I even looked at young Christopher Walken because he can roller skate and can dance, as we saw in the Fat Boy Slim?
Fat Boy Slim video, yeah.
Which I rewatched, and he can dance, but he's also like...
He's also just alien. Goofy.
I think he's a trained like ballroom dancer.
He is.
I would not be
something
surprised.
crazy like that. Yeah.
That sounds correct.
He was, I don't know if you remember what movie we already covered at that time, that he would have been so way
Oh my God, no, you're right. He was neck deep in Heaven's Gate.
Yeah.
No, that would not have been possible.
And I think he was already doing a second project on top of that.
Probably. He's a busy boy.
Who was not busy?
Who wasn't busy?
And who had just started acting and was in Skate Town, USA.
Oh?
Patrick Swayze.
Oh, shit!
Oh.
I didn't know Patrick Swayze was in Skate Town, USA.
Okay.
Now, I want to say this is true, but I also had a lot of Snoop juice. I want to say there's a skating scene, which is like, not only can I know he can dance, but he can also skate and he can also act. Because I want to say, is it The Greasers? No. Yes. No.
The Outsiders?
The Outsiders, thank you.
Yes.
That was like 2 years after this.
Yeah.
So
Good movie.
He can do all the things.
Yeah.
I want to say he's skating and he takes his belt off and uses it as like a whip. And I'm going to pull the scene up for you guys later.
I'm on board.
This is from Skate Town?
This is from Skate Town.
Okay, yeah, I absolutely need to see that.
And the only reason I hesitate to cast him is because I think he might overshadow Olivia Newton-John.
Or he might elevate her.
He might
push her.
Yeah.
Because I feel like she was a little muted in this film
Yeah.
as far as her performance goes. Like her singing and dancing was fine.
Yeah.
But if she had Swayze to act
But if she had
off of.
Swayze to act off of, and I would love to see what Swayze and Gene Kelly are like.
Oh
on
my
screen
God,
together.
could you fucking imagine?
Yeah. So that's the actor I'm switching out Michael
Back for.
back for.
Okay,
Now I'm going to take you on a journey. It's
please.
a very short journey.
Okay,
It's more of a walk across the street.
okay, let's go. Yeah,
As I said, all of the directors I looked at,
super busy.
super busy, including Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh my God. Wait, Coppola? Like,
Yeah.
That's a hell of a pull.
I'm getting there.
Okay.
So he was, I want to say, working on a movie called One from the Heart,
Okay.
which was a movie musical.
I did not know that.
It was a passion project. And do you know why that movie is important?
Not really.
So Ford Coppola had created this company called Zoetrope. And Zoetrope was meant to be a studio that gave young, upcoming new Hollywood directors a place to do their project, do their passion projects, however they wanted. It was going to be like, you are a director, you have full power here, which is cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, he made a series of bad financial decisions. One of them was THX 113, which I really enjoy, but was, not a great financial investment.
Sure.
What ultimately sank that studio was One from the Heart. Which,
Oh, that killed the studio entirely.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
that came out, and I want to say 1980. It was either 80 or 81. Unless we told him not to do that
Yeah.
and to do Xanadu instead with Patrick Swayze and Olivia Newton-John.
So Francis Ford Coppola attached to direct Patrick Swayze and Olivia Newton-John and Gene Kelly.
In a roller disco movie musical.
Interesting.
Now, I have not watched One from the Heart because frankly, the goal he was reaching for with Zoetrope, American Zoetrope, connects with me so hard that I'm like, I don't really want to watch the movie that sank your dream.
Fair.
Like,
I do get that. Yeah.
especially because like all the movies on either side of that movie are perfect. Like he has like 5 perfect movies.
Shit.
The Conversation, Apocalypse Now, Godfather Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah.
And obviously Jack starring Robin Williams.
Masterpiece. Just
There's that farting in a jar scene.
I haven't thought about that movie in so long.
Yeah, that movie happened because One from the Heart.
Oh my God.
Because he didn't have any money then.
Yeah. Oh, buddy.
So, with Francis Ford Coppola in charge and Patrick Swayze as lead, he could punch the Universal producers in the face and say, no, we're not moving the release date up. We're keeping it as is. Fuck you. I make my own wine, like Snoop Dogg.
Like Snoop.
Let me be clear, Snoop Dogg did not actually make that wine.
No, I'm pretty sure I saw him making it.
You saw it?
Yeah, that was the thing you put up on your phone. You
Yeah.
could, watch the label.
To make the Snoop juice.
The Snoop juice.
There's just something about that makes it dirty. I don't know. Oh, no.
I would also hire a different DP. And
yeah, 100%.
The DP who worked on Xanadu isn't even a bad DP. Like, I've looked at his filmography, and he did some other, pretty decent films. But I don't know if he was just, napping that day.
Maybe, this was his one for the studio that he didn't really give a shit about.
Yeah. And I would like to have looked through and found a better DP for this project, but, I was busy quitting my job. So
That's fair.
I leave it up to you, the viewer, to decide yourself. And now we're entering the narrative fix, a section I don't remember writing and can probably barely read. Hold on to your butts. What is the movie missing?
Horses.
More
Tension.
lasers. Oh.
Yes, you said it. Tension. Specifically, tension between artists. Now, artists are the best people in the world, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. I have never been happier when I've been surrounded by artists, but holy shit, are they a pain in the ass. Exhibit A, this room. So, myself included, obviously. So you want to build tension in your script. To do so, everyone needs wants, starting with Kira, which that was narratively the biggest issue I had. Was she was basically there just to service Sonny.
Her want was for him to succeed in a creative capitalistic endeavor.
Correct.
Which is barely a want, and is certainly not like a want that's at all related to her.
Correct.
No.
So, Kira Terpsichore, Terpsichore, after years of helping sad boy artists, wants nothing more than to become a singer.
Okay.
And what I like about this is that Terpsichore is the muse of dance, but what she wants to do is sing. So there's a little bit of conflict within herself.
Wants to become a double threat, you see.
Yeah. What's triple threat? Sing, dance,
dancing,
act?
acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know any of those?
Just me.
Just you?
Just Caleb.
She is indeed the same woman who sang on Gene Kelly's album. And this is the only copy of her singing that exists on the human plane.
Okay.
And by all accounts, anybody who's ever heard this singer, it's otherworldly.
Yeah.
But nobody knows who the fuck she is. Zeus is also not terribly happy that she had her talents captured in this way. Sonny, who is now an architect and not a charcoal artist or a fella who draws big albums, wants to specifically run a place that caters to the oddity that is the artist.
Huh. An art-related career that actually involves buildings and such.
Yeah.
Let's say something like American Zoetrope. Yeah. He's not actually making American Zoetrope, but that way, Ford Coppola will be oh, I relate to this character. I can,
Yeah.
For the sake of the film, it's a Californian.
It's San
Mobius.
Francisco, not. I don't know where's UCLA. Shut the fuck up.
LA.
It's LA. Oh, Jack.
Oh, no.
You really don't know how to handle your booze, do you?
Oh, God.
This is why I don't drink wine. So he's got some writer's block, right? He's still doing designs for his boss, who is in this version his uncle. His uncle who first housed him and gave him his first job when he moved to LA. So there's a little bit of like familial pressure there.
Yeah.
Gene Kelly busks on the beach unintentionally. He just wants people to like. He just wants to be in a place where people can hear his music, but like nobody cares. They just think he's busking. He's more of like one of those like local oddities, right? So in Bloomfield, we had like Bumper Bike Guy.
Oh, did we ever? Yeah.
So
He hugged me once.
I'm sorry.
I I showered twice afterward. Like, no offense to him, but he had not bathed in quite some time.
No.
Not important.
Did you ever meet Bumper Bike Guy? Okay. Well, for the audience,
first moved in, an experience.
So Bumper Bike Guy was a guy who had a bike, but had taken a car bumper and strapped it to the front of his bike.
Yes.
I always assumed it was so that he could not get hit by a car, but he also did ride on the sidewalks, which was
Really annoying.
really annoying and difficult. We have a number of those type of characters, and in this, you have Gene Kelly who plays a clarinet on the beach.
Yeah.
Just a local character.
Yeah, the seaside clarinetist.
Yeah. So it's while he's like lamenting his failed clarinetist career that he meets Sonny.
Okay.
You see, Gene also has a bit of writer's block, and has had it since his band broke up in the 40s.
Wow. Okay.
It is a surprise to Sonny that this stranger is filthy rich, because everybody just assumes he's like, a bum on the beach who plays a clarinet.
I think he's playing for money. He's playing for passion.
Right. But not so rich that if Xanadu fails, he wouldn't go bankrupt. Like, it is a financial danger for him to invest in this place.
Well, of course. Otherwise, there's no tension there for him.
Yes. So, and a lot of this sticks to the plot of Xanadu. So whatever I skip over, just assume it's in there.
Yeah, sure.
So Sonny and Kira, they fall for each other. The three of them agree to go in on constructing Xanadu. So she can sing, he can build his dream building, and Gene Kelly, Danny
McGuire
can have a place to restart his band.
Yeah.
Now that they're all suddenly charged with creative juices for some reason.
Interesting that he wants to get the band back together. That's a good. I like that change.
However, when the building is finished, Kira is called back to Zeus. He's like, "You did it. You did the job. Come back home."
Zeus is a bit of a deadbeat dad. That's my addition to the
Honestly,
He's too busy out there.
is.
He's too busy out there disguising himself as animals, trying to attract women. It's
And pissing on people to impregnate them.
Also pissing on people.
Listen, Zeus is like the deadbeat dad.
Yes,
He's kind of gross.
Yeah.
Anyway. Destroyed, Sonny decides he's done with the Xanadu. He's too heartbroken. He can't do it. This causes trouble between him and Danny. Worse, when Kira leaves, both believe they now have writer's block again. They're like, she was the muse. Like, she was the only thing that was able to get rid of this writer's block, which is, of course, not true. The solution is Sonny gets over his selfish behavior and opens the club without Gene or Kira. At the opening, he plays the record that Kira is captured on. So the one that we heard in Gene Kelly's mansion.
Okay.
Gene surprises him by playing a modernized version along with the record. Kira also arrives to sing with it. Both men credit the return of their ability to her, but she reveals she is no longer a muse, just another struggling artist like them. She's given up being a muse.
She's stepped down from Olympus permanently. Okay.
I don't remember writing any of this, which explains why I left so much out.
I mean, like you said, you were trying to leave
everything else still happened. It was just
Yeah.
I think the one thing that I don't think is well covered in that fix is the confrontation with Zeus. I still feel like there should still be some moment, whether it might not need to be Sonny in particular. It could just be like more of a confrontational scene between Kira and Zeus.
Yeah, especially with a step down, like leaving everything you've ever known.
Her fuck you, I quit moment.
Yeah.
So like what I want to do in this version, and something I mentioned in the first part, is that I want her to reveal herself as a muse way earlier.
Right. Yeah, you did mention that.
Think of this as Disney's Aladdin, but if Aladdin wanted to fuck the genie.
I'm on board.
So what I've always wanted. Okay.
Yeah. So initially doesn't realize Kira is magical, but pretty soon he realizes that.
Yeah.
Oh, you turn those mannequins into weird 80s dancers. Okay, I got you. Got you.
You can disappear and move as a laser.
Right.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I picked up on that.
Yeah.
I'm an observant artist.
But yeah, I definitely want to see like the Electric Zeus malt liquor scenes.
Yes, absolutely.
I like that.
I kind of want to push the movie's already kind of over the top, but it also tries to be sensible at times.
At times.
We don't need that.
You're ripping the top off.
Yeah.
This would be hell with the lid off. Okay.
Yeah. You've already asked your audience to suspend their disbelief so much.
Right.
Just go for it.
Yeah. Lean in.
Like, lean into it. Like, I feel like at parts, especially when we were talking about, they wish they had more time to do the effects more elaborately.
Give them the time.
Well, I mean, give them the time, but also, like, don't worry about making it look more realistic.
Yeah, like really lean into how over the top and like and bright and vibrant it all is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More lasers.
What I want is Rocky Horror, but on skates and disco.
And cocaine.
And cocaine. Yeah. I'm sure there's plenty of cocaine on the Rockies.
Most likely, yeah.
But more.
Double it.
For Xanadu. More.
So, what do we think of the fix?
I like the fix.
I like it. Yeah, I like its willing. I like the willingness to lean into what this movie really is, which is a buck wild laser light show clusterfuck.
Yeah,
which like there's nothing wrong with that. That's not a bad thing. Be earnest about it.
Right.
I also I thoroughly like shifting Sonny out of the record industry and into a career that makes actual sense for somebody who's going to be renovating a building.
Mm-hmm. And that building was a historic site.
Yeah. So he would have like a real appreciation and know-how for how to work with that kind of space if he was an architect.
Yeah.
And would hopefully make things in the interior make more sense.
Yeah. Throughout the movie, like I was expecting, like to when Xanadu was done, to like walk in and see like murals all over the wall and like the wall, like all of his art. It's gold.
Yeah,
it's just gold. It's just gold, and there's a bunch of different troops of dancers that are extreme tone whiplash from one to the next.
Yeah.
I think shifting the focus away from like that like hodgepodge roller disco idea and having it be more of like the stage setting that Danny kind of imagines in the actual movie. Like he talks about having the stage set up and having the big band and all that and trying to bring that aesthetic back. Having him actually follow through on that and then in the last minute modernize it out of the inspiration of that lost record being played. I think that's a powerful moment. I think that works way better than the opening night of the club that we get because that's just kind of a mishmash of stuff that like just does not flow together.
No.
So what happened was, I forget who it was that they had bring those people in, but they're like, make it as wild as possible.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, all right, well, I know jugglers, I know tightrope walkers, I know blah, 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 blah.
I just got a truckload of mimes just on standby.
So they just brought them all in to make it as wild as possible, and it just did not click. And I'm hoping that with making Xanadu more of a place that's open to all forms of art, that would make more sense.
Yeah.
Or you could cut it entirely.
Yeah, either way. Yeah. Like, you have the option.
Yeah. I wrote this before I knew anything about the musical, the stage play. I probably would incorporate the antagonists of
the other muses.
I think that was one of the weak points of the film as well. Like they didn't really interact with the other muses at all.
Correct.
No.
Yeah.
So I think that would have definitely been a good addition as well.
Everything else that I like about the music is more like satire from the film, which wouldn't make sense to have within the film itself.
In the film itself, but having even those two, because even in the musical, their parts are not big. They were big names to like get people to like come in. Sure. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it wasn't like they were huge. It was like, hey, we're gonna set up this to help you get there.
Right.
Sure.
We'll pop in and say funny lines every now and then.
The other muses, not the two that we're
Correct.
to antagonist. Were they kind of like the chorus in like Disney's Hercules, where they sang in between the transitions?
Yep.
I could be into that.
Yeah.
That would work.
They were the Greek chorus.
You said they were
the
like the
show.
company, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. There's no one else in it except the muses and the main characters.
Yeah, I would be down to keep them in.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Well, it sounds like we did fix it.
Yeah.
I think so. I think we got there.
Again, I didn't really want to fix it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think like IMDb, I think we break a 6, maybe break a 6.5.
Yeah.
Which is like solid range for IMDb. I think we certainly get out of the 20 range on the critic score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Do you think we're still nominated for the 1980 Razzies?
I want to say no, but I feel like I
What
need
were
to watch the rest of those nominees, which I know we're going to get to throughout the coming seasons.
What were the
and whatnot.
nominations that they got?
The one that won was "Don't Stop the Music," which I don't think any of us.
What were
Can't Stop
the the ones that Xanadu was nominated for? It was actor, actress,
worst picture, worst actress, worst
Screenplay?
actor, worst screenplay, worst song,
Director.
worst director, which it won.
Yeah.
I don't know. With your fixes, the only thing that would still apply, I think, would be worst song. But if we have a different director, that song might be more interesting.
Imagine them
Right.
nominating Francis Ford Coppola for worst director for this.
Besides Stanley Kubrick and Brian De Palma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all buddies. They would have hung out. Oh, and William Freakin. Maybe I'll do a double feature for myself. Skate Town, USA, Cruisin'.
Perfect.
You got yourself a Labor Day you'll never forget.
Wonderful. Well, Caleb, thank you for joining us
Yes.
for, once again, for Xanadu.
Of course.
God, I don't know how we're going to top this one next year, but we'll think of something.
something.
Would you like to sell your wares?
Yes. So if you want to check out my podcast, Making a Martini, Up, Dry, and Straight to the Point, we are available on all podcast streaming platforms. We cover different topics. It's quite a spectrum. We've talked about sex. We've talked about voting. We've talked about Grease 2. Romy and Michelle's high school reunion, someone just brought up to me.
Excellent.
That was a fun one. Daylight savings time, which is apparently pretty current right now, I guess. Something's actually happening. So over the course, it's been a lot. But yeah, I drink and then usually have someone on that I consider knowledgeable or that I find funny.
It's a solid podcast.
Yeah.
Give it a listen. And then you can find us all kinds of places.
You can,
Right
yeah. I mean,
behind
you're
you,
listed
in
out. We're right behind you. We've always been there.
We're not sniffing your hair. Shut the fuck
We've
up.
been there the whole time. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, Stitcher, wherever you listen to podcasts, wherever you're listening to us right now. You can find us on social media at DeRazzled Pod on Twitter, at DeRazzled Podcast on Facebook, at DeRazzled_podcast on Instagram, and Dullboy_Jack on TikTok. You can also email us at DeRazzledPodcast@gmail.com if you have suggestions for things you'd like to see us cover, whether it be regular episodes or second unit episodes, or if you want to see particular merch get made, which will be sold on our Redbubble store at DeRazzled Merch.
Yarp.
And of course, be sure to rate and review us to help us get up into those search rankings higher and help people discover us so that we can continue to build our audience. Now that we are firmly in our second year of podcasting, not just our second season, but our second actual calendar year of podcasting, we want to get into more and more people's ears because we still love what we do. We still love you guys listening to us, and we want more people to have fun with us here.
You betcha.
I want you guys into other people's ears too.
Hell yeah.
Bathhouse.
Yep, you're all those words and more. But you know what? You should really join us next time. We'll be sure to
Razzle dazzle ya.
Yeah, we will.
You'll